got made yesterday that we may look back on and say, this was the day that the NBA's Western Conference was won. So, Zach Lowe, if I said fact or fiction, the Alex Caruso trade makes the Thunder the best team in the West, would it be fact or fiction?
Oh, it just hurts me. It hurts my soul. I'm still going fiction. And that's not a shot at the Thunder. The Thunder could be the -- 1 seed again next year. If they make the finals, it wouldn't surprise me. I still think we go into next year as Denver with the team to beat in the West. And they just have the best guy. They're a little more veteran than the Thunder. But this trade, whether it's fact, fiction, faction, whatever, makes the Thunder scary with a capital S.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what Alex Caruso brings to the table. Again, fans, I think, know Alex Caruso. They know he's a very good player. They know he's a very good defender. They know he can shoot. They know he has been a contributor on really good teams. But I don't think people will look at that and say, oh, an Alex Caruso trade to Oklahoma City, that could change everything. Why should they think that?
I mean, I look at this trade and I kind of put it in the same class as the Drew Holiday trade, where you get a chance to bring in a guy who can blow up offense by getting over, get through on pick and rolls. He doesn't have to double. He takes teams out of their offense. You can stay at home. You can take away triggers. And he's shooting the three at 41%. He's going to be open with SGA and with Williams and the way they drive the ball and get into the paint. I look at this as a huge, huge upgrade. And once again, I think this does put them at the top of the West.
Let me get Windy in here. That was a strange trade. Like, the Bulls traded him straight up for Josh Giddey. I got a lot of Bulls fans, close to me in my life who are a little shaking their heads at this one. What is your assessment of this trade all the way around, Windman?
Well, Josh Giddey will be the franchise point guard, I guess, for the Bulls. He's 21 years old. He's very talented, ball skills. He can score. He's not a great shooter. And that's really where this is. It's not just Alex Caruso, the player. It's what the swap out is, which is what Zach talked about in the last hour. They had a player on their team that the opposing teams didn't guard in the playoffs, and Josh Giddey, so much to the point that Mark Daigneault had to start. I don't think Josh Giddey had ever come off the bench in his career as a member of the Thunder until the playoffs because he had been forced into it. Now you take a guy who replaces him and upgrades at the defensive end, and this is the other thing I got to point out. They still have $30 million in cap space. This trade, it wasn't like it zeroed out their offseason moves. They've still got 30 draft picks in the next 7 drafts. All of those are still on the table for them to improve. And I just want to point out one thing. Zach mentioned Denver. The Thunder added an excellent wing player. Denver's got a little problem that no one's talking about, and that's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. One of their core members of that championship team is expected to opt out of his contract within the next week, and teams are going to flock to him. Now they have his rights. They can re-sign him, but they're deep into the luxury tax. I don't know what they're going to be able to do there. They can't afford to lose him. The Thunder have added. The Nuggets have to play defense to keep their team together.
Remember I mentioned Philadelphia's cap space is the biggest story in the NBA?
Yeah.
KCP is a guy to keep an eye on there, too.
Oh, that's interesting. Alan, get in here.
No, it's a great fit there, and again, defensively for that. But with the Caruso thing, it is the exact thing that a team like the Thunder has to find.
Yes.
Is the experience of somebody who has been there, a veteran. You need veteran presence. That's not easy to find in the NBA, but when you have a young team that looks like they're right on the verge, that's the very next thing you do. This is a smart move. This shouldn't be the only veteran experience addition they should make, though.
All right, again, they were the 1 seed last year with the 2nd youngest team in the entire NBA, and now they've added exactly the kind of glue guy that winds up making a difference, like in the Andre Iguodala once upon a time in Golden State. Speaking of them, Alan, yours is next. Fact or fiction? If someone were to say it's just time, it's time to break up the Splash Brothers in Golden State, would that be fact or fiction?
I'm going to say fact here, mainly because it seems like Klay wants more than what the Golden State Warriors want to give him. We'll start with that. And also, it's probably time for, Kuminga to become a Splash, nephew, I guess, right? 'Cause he's younger. Like, he has really come a long way over the end of last season. And you can't emerge when there's guys like that are there that you have great respect for. You don't want to overstep them. Klay Thompson should be a 6th Man of the Year candidate somewhere in the NBA. And when I talk about experience and championship pedigree and shooting, the Thunder, I love a potential fit of Klay Thompson in OKC as well.
Let me ask you just on the Golden State piece of this all, because there's probably nothing harder in sports than seeing it end.
Yes.
Right? This has been such a great dynasty. They've been they've been so good for the NBA, well beyond how, they're an all-time great team. but they're also so beautiful to watch. And the Splash Brothers, they have brought so many fans to the sport, and they've been so important for the market and everything else. So how do you handle that at the end of a player's career? Is it the right thing to do to give him a little more if he wants it, just because of what he's meant to the organization, even if you're robbing a little bit of Peter to pay Paul? How should a franchise handle the end for a player who has meant as much as Klay Thompson has?
I mean, sometimes it's just time. I think about the run of the big three that we had, and when you get to the end of that run and you still have an amazing amount of respect for those guys, and you appreciate the time that you have together, but sometimes it's just time for guys to go elsewhere. And then I take it a little bit further. In today's society, when you unfollow somebody on Instagram, you have checked out. So when I'm looking at that situation, it might be better mentally, physically, and emotionally for both teams to move on, and for Klay to have a clear mind and just start from there.
There are hurt feelings here that need to be repaired one way or another. Look, my basketball soul, my soul wants Steph, Klay, and Draymond to play forever. They should never play apart from each other. They should just run out the string, even if it's just 45 wins, 46 wins. I can't imagine it. But UD just pointed out, like, we couldn't imagine Dwayne Wade leaving in a salary dispute to go to Chicago, and then he had to find his way back to Miami. I'm sure that was not easy to live through as his lifelong teammate, basically.
We both shed a little tears. I mean, it was a situation where we never thought we would be separated. We thought we would probably play from the beginning to the end of our career, and we didn't see that coming. It was a situation where it was unfortunate, but I supported him and he supported me, and it worked out the way it did. We ended up playing back together and finishing our careers together anyway.